Everybody, this is Gujiro and I'm bringing you guys part 2 of what if half-saiyan of what if Issei was a half-saiyan. So yeah, now we continue after Issei manages to encounter Asya. If you're wondering who's Asya, she's practically a church girl who will be joining with Spirit in a future events. So yeah, practically Issei will meet her, but when she mentions the word God, it actually doesn't hurt Issei as bad when he first started as devil. Since he's a Saiyan, he's in nature most likely able to only make it to a slight headache, but he will not feel anything else. With this, Yusi will still accompany Asya to the church and she'll go back there. And when Yusi can still continue his duty, he'll manage to get a lot of, let's just say, you could say, paperwork that he's finished. So yeah. Reyes will still warn Yusei about going to a church and not approaching Asya, but Yusei thinks that this is just absurd, but Reyes explains about the church and how they're enemies to the devils. What Yusei doesn't see is much of a problem since he's not full devil, but she just tells him to just be careful around churches, with Yusei nodding and tell her that he will. While Drake will explain to Yusei that they must train so he can achieve balance breakthrough. Even though he can achieve it already, he must train to access it at will and not only his name. Well, of course, Yusei agreeing with Drake. Eventually, they spent a couple of days training with one another. With Yusei's training, alongside doing his summonings, he managed to increase his power. Yusei managed to control the balance breaker and control at full capacity. At this point, Yusei is much stronger and much more powerful than the original one. At this point, Yusei can already activate his balance breaker and use it at free will. He's also trying to go even further beyond with his power. Drake explains about him about the grading transformation and asks him if he can control it using his base. Yusei does try it, but he can barely keep control over it, since it's a much more humanoid version, unlike the original one. But Yusei managed to get control over it after 2 days, so yeah. If you're wondering, yes, Yusei's potential is incredibly high, and since he has mastered Great Ape, he almost like able to have easier time mastering Ikari. With Yusei already mastered his balance brief, he can use it at free will and can boost it as much as he wants. Of course, if you're wondering that most of the events of Issei losing Asya will go out the same, it said that Issei actually transforms into balance breakthrough and instead of just letting Reyes defeat Raynor, he decides to do it himself as he obliterates her and Asya's secret gear goes back to her. But she's already dead, so a secret gear resides within her. Reyes still revives her and reincarnates her as the devil while Issei accepts it. She lives with him and he appreciates it, seeing as she can finally live a normal life. Most of the events of DxD universe will most likely go out the same. If you're wondering, the battle between them and a Stray Devil will most likely go the same, since using much stronger, you're able to obliterate the Stray Devil with just one blow, so yeah. For the other events, when with Pirates versus Riser, and the meaning between Riser and Reyes, Reyes will still want you to take her, like, in a relationship, but Yuji thinks that it's just too far and just tells her to calm down and explain what happened. After she explains everything about the forced marriage with Riser, Yuji explains that he'll help her in what she needs and he always will be by her side. With his main Reyes tear up, he hugs Yuji as he tells him, with Yuji telling her that it's no problem and he'll always help her in need. He just has to say his name. Reyes thanks him as Yuji nods. Griffith still appears and takes risks with, of course, Issei, telling her to mention to Riser that he'll fight him in a rating game if that needs to change his opinion on marrying Reyes. With, of course, Griffith being surprised by, of course, Issei's incredible respect for Reyes and her freedom, which she agrees. And of course, Riser still goes. Most of the others will go out the same, except that instead of Riser trying to touch Reyes, Issei will stop him and punch him in the face, telling him to don't do something to Reyes. Well, of course, Riser gliding at him and firing a fireball, but Issei with just an aura obliterates it and disperses it. Riser being in shock calls out his special attack Issei, but Issei with literal ease knocks most of them out. Of course, the weakest. Wavia tells him to stop, as Issei is not actually budging by her power. Issei is much stronger and it actually most likely with his balance breaker and training that he did with Drake, he's equivalent to a high-class devil at this point. Which is actually surprised, seemingly as his class is now changed from a low devil to mid-rank devil. Which is still surprising because he's just begun a couple of months ago, so yeah. The rating game will most likely go the same with Reyes' spirit, still training for the 1 week that Riser gave them. Issei trains in that training, he tries to achieve something even further beyond his power. He does try to combine Ikari and Balance Breaker, but it's not like he actually expected. Since Ikari is mostly focused on too much rage, he cannot control it while using Balance Breaker. Since Balance Breaker allows him to have focus, while Ikari does not let him do that as much. So yeah, it's kind of difficult for him to master these two ones. But you'll see with his new technique that he managed to create a couple of years ago with his father, known as a Kaioken. It's a pretty strenuous technique, but if used properly, he can increase his power a lot more. So he managed to use Kaioken, which is a very powerful technique, and with Kaioken, you can already use Kaioken times 10 and times 20 in short bursts. Times 10 he can use again with his balance breaker, and use Kaioken times 20 if he wants to at free will. Of course, the Drake allows him to actually have much more durability while using the boots, since Yusuke will most likely focus his abilities on durability and speed, while of course Kaioken increases both his speed and strength. So he wants to focus on durability and speed. So he particularly increases his stamina and durability with Fine Koniko. With of course knowing that Koniko and Hakuno were not using their full powers, he shows them his grade form, explains about them how they must use their full power no matter what, and to don't be scared of their powers. With both Akino, Koniko, Issei, and Issei, it's going to actually reveal her Necromate form to Issei. With Issei, she is pretty cute since she's practically half cat, and he really likes it. With their training, they're much more improved and much stronger than the original. With of course Issei helping Ase control most of her magic, since he's already used to it thanks to his ki. Issei can also control different types of elements, like fire, lightning, and most likely even mist. If wondering how he's able to do mist, it's most likely a combination between his fire and wind magic, which he can use water magic, but it's not that pretty good, but his fire magic is the strongest, while his lightning magic is the second, and his wind magic and smoke magic is much more better, since his smoke magic allows him to see through the smoke while his opponents can't. Well, we're actually impressed by Issei achieving this much level of power, since he has never seen any devil achieve this level of power that fast. It at least takes him a couple of years to actually achieve this level of power, while Issei just did it in a couple of days. When the 1 full week has finished, the Raise Spirit and Rise of Spirit fight in the rating game. Of course, their pairs will most likely be equal since the battle is much more closer, while Koniko and Issei were easily able to deal with the pawns and bishops. Akuno would have handled the queen as she managed to be equal to her, if not even a little bit stronger. With this, their battle is most likely in stalemate, while both Issei and Koniko are able to deal with the bishops and pawns. Kiba is a little bit struggling against the knights, so yeah. He's still struggling, but he manages to keep up, since he's only knight, so yeah. With Issei and Koniko alongside joining him so they can defeat the knights, Issei uses Balance Breaker, designs to hold anything back so he can know that he can win with his team. With him using his powers, he's easily able to defeat the knights. But as he sees Runner trying to attack Akino as she defeated the Bomb Queen, Akino is knocked out and out of the ring. After Issei sees that, Rise then attacks Konko as Issei is just stunned in place. As Kibo sees Issei in his Balance Breaker shaking as he roars that Riser will pay. As he roars, one more time Issei powers up into a golden aura and transforms for the first time into a Super Saiyan transformation. But because he's still in Balance Breaker, he achieves a level beyond just Super Saiyan. He achieves Super Balance Breaker. In this form, Issei is much more powerful than the form if he actually combines Super Saiyan with Great Ape. With Balance Breaker, he can already match his Juggernaut Drive self from the future in original canon self. So most likely this Issei will easily able to mop the floor with Riser, even just using Super Saiyan will able to deal with him. So Issei will tell the Drake to power him down for Balance Breaker as he will only use Super Saiyan. And with the power, he would, as Issei would then say Hakai. If you're wondering, this is not a real Hakai, it's just a technique that Issei created a couple of years ago, which allows him to focus all his energy into one blast that can practically evaporate everything in front of his opponent, or himself. Which practically is kind of like the original Hakai, that it doesn't have to destroy energy. It just practically destroys everything on its side, but it does not erase it. He just evaporates it so there's no molecules or atoms left. Which is practically incredibly injured and also near death. Yes, uses attack was this power because he infused the power of the Drake of his balance breaker while he actually powered down from it. He wanted to keep it safe just in case he needed it. After the rain game has finished, Issei passes out. Issei then wakes up from Rita's hugging him. As she thanks him with, of course, Issei saying to her there was no problem and he will always help her out. With most of the events of after the Risers and with Spirit battling, most of the events will go the same, with of course some of the events changing because of Issei being a Saiyan. Issei would have trained incredibly hard so he can master Super Balance Breaker since he wants to control the transformation way better. His was actually proud of him since he achieved the legend that his Saiyan race had, the Super Saiyan race. Eventually, Issei managed to master Super Saiyan after training with the Drake using the Mindscape. With this, Issei can already use Super Saiyan Grade 4 right out of the bat, meaning that he has already mastered Super Saiyan, but he still has to master his Super Balance Breaker, since it is incredibly powerful, but it's still not strong enough, since Issei wants to go even further beyond his limits. So he actually tries the idea of combining Balance Breaker with Super Saiyan, once again when he actually faces off against Riser in the rating game. With this, Issei can actually control the Super Balance Breaker a lot better, but it's still stamina drain because if you wonder, this is just two powers. Yes, two separate powers mastered their own ways, but they combined, they have to master together. So Issei most likely would have focused on stamina so he can increase the control over his Super Balance Breaker, which I would say that he managed to achieve it after 2 or 3 weeks, which will increase his power a lot more. So guys, this is the end of this part. Hope you guys enjoy this. If one day I actually finished season 1 of the DxD universe. I think I explained you the entire season 1 for my part 1 and 2 of this video. I'll be including the season 2 when everyone will meet the angels. So guys, this is the end of this part. Hope you guys enjoy it. See you around guys. Take care my Z fans. Bye.